A decade later, two brothers were attracted back to Oak Island by the appeal of unraveling its riddles. Surprisingly, the garden shaft, which was not first thought to be the elusive money pit, exposed its secrets through wood samples, revealing signs of gold. The decision to deepen the shaft by 20 feet was motivated by the prospect of future findings. The trip took a scientific turn when scientists analyzed water samples collected from various sites across the gold mine region. These tests revealed gold, silver, and other metal residues. The concentration of these elements was especially high around the garden shaft. In the same location, a tunnel was discovered that was thought to continue right beneath the garden shaft. Despite the unwavering search of the mythical wealth in the money pit area, doubts about other places surfaced. A stone wall, for example, produced silver traces, encouraging the crew to extend their search. The previous year saw a noteworthy discovery, a circular dip 13 feet deep, which matched the description of the money pit in 1795. Recent evidence suggests that Oak Island's strange triangle-shaped wetland is largely or fully man-made. The team's discoveries reached beyond the earthly world, including fragments of sailing vessels ranging from the 7th to the 18th centuries. A stone path adds to the mystery surrounding Oak Island's history. Undaunted by previous discoveries, the crew set out on a new mission, a 6-inch borehole strategically situated between the intriguing Baby Blob and the garden shaft. The expectation was that this drill would forge a secret link with the nearby gold, silver, and other metals. A parallel inquiry was underway as drilling activities progressed. Another team investigated the puzzles surrounding a mystery circular stone depression, adding to the dense tapestry of Oak Island's mysteries. The use of red ware, which is a type of pottery in Europe and North America throughout the 17th and 18th centuries, raises fascinating concerns regarding its relationship to pottery in the early 1600s. It begs the question of whether crimson ware serves a dual purpose, maybe concealing something important while in use. If a team digs further, they may find signs that give light on the dual purpose of red ware and the objectives behind its creation. In the meantime, another inquiry is focusing on the famous money pit. It was said that drilling in the money pit in 1861 led to the discovery of 2 money chests. Subsequent attempts to recover the wealth were complicated by seawater flooding the tunnel, perhaps spreading the treasure. The issue is whether the squad is on the verge of unearthing the original money pit. The discovery of valuable metals in the region heightens the excitement and anticipation of what may be discovered. The previously mentioned pirateer, Sir William's discovery of a wreck holding approximately 100 tons of silver in 1687 piques the team's interest. His following trip with an assistance, with less wealth the second time, suggests the potential of numerous buried treasures. Also, a latch discovered in a circular dip is a tantalizing link to Sir William. While one crew continues their search in the circular depression, another team uncovers a vital clue less than 30 yards from where a 1,000-year-old Roman coin was discovered the year before. The issue then becomes, how did these Roman coins find up on Oak Island? And what role do they play in solving the island's mystery? An X-ray fluorescence spectrometer was used to determine the potential provenance of these coins. This non-destructive technology uses radiation to detect the minerals that make up items. The finding of a second, presumably Roman coin, offers the fascinating possibility that these artifacts were transported to Oak Island on purpose by people who may have also buried other precious objects. The team's diligent use of technology and technique adds another level of accuracy to their search for answers. Furthermore, team members discover clues all around Europe, including Portugal, Italy, and England, which were all formerly part of the Roman Empire. This worldwide link implies a complicated web of historical events that may have resulted in the presence of Roman artifacts on Oak Island. The mystery deepens as the crew considers how these kinds of evidence fit into the larger story of Oak Island's intriguing past. The secrets of Oak Island, linked via red pottery, the enigmatic money pit, Sir William's silver-laden history, and Roman artifacts, remain enigmas. As teams explore history, technology, and worldwide connections, the island's mysteries become clearer, offering a story rich in riches and narratives hidden under its cryptic surface. The Onslaught personnel returned to the money pit one morning to discover that it had been completely submerged by 18 meters of water. Due to this strange and unanticipated event, the extracted shaft is now useless and cannot be used for further excavation. The Onslaught's troops, undeterred by their defeats, resolved to dig a shaft parallel to the money pit in order to access the treasure from the side. The fact that the second shaft also filled rendered their efforts futile and compelled them to abandon their goal. Another determined search for Captain Kidd's concealed treasure did not commence for nearly 50 years. In 1849, a team from Toro arrived and redigged the 2 holes that the Onslaught crew had dug. The water filled the openings once more, rendering their efforts futile. The Toro firm observed an anomaly that the Onslaught crew did not notice. A portion of the water in the pits was mildly salty, and its level appeared to vary with the tide. This suggested that seawater was finding its way into the money pit, which was located approximately 40 meters inland. Following a search of the island's shores, the crew discovered the beginning of a small canal that led to the money pit, which was located deep below. This was the first indication of the odd, unexplainable events that would plague the search for Captain Kidd's wealth. The treasure hunters were determined to obtain Captain Kidd's loot, but the discovery of the mined flood system was a significant setback. Despite the apparent value of whatever was at the bottom of the hole, accessing it was exceedingly difficult due to the elaborate security measures in place. The Toro crew dug numerous shafts to approach the pit from a variety of directions, but their efforts were frequently thwarted by water and sudden cave-ins. They were ultimately compelled to abandon their search for the treasure, forever altering the allure of Oak Island. Since then, swarms of people have flocked to Oak Island in the hopes of excavating the money pit's buried riches. Over the past 170 years, countless explorers have flocked to Oak Island in quest of the rumored legendary treasure buried at the bottom of the money pit. Some have attempted to avoid the complex booby traps in the flood tunnels, while others have dug ditches on other parts of the island, frequently at the cost of human life and spawning fanciful rumors of a curse. In spite of the development of ever more advanced instruments, such as steam pumps in the 1860s and divers in 1909, treasure hunters have attempted and failed throughout history. Even though they sent apparatus for digging and divers to the island in 1909, the old gold salvage gang was unable to break Oak Island's curse. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the future president of the United States, is rumored to have been a member of the original Gold Savage group and to have been fascinated by its mystery throughout his entire existence. Errol Flynn and John Wayne, 2 of Hollywood's greatest stars of the 1930s, donated money to multiple expeditions. According to legend, King George VI of England instructed 2 treasure hunters to submit their finds. Despite numerous searches, the treasures of Oak Island have evaded discovery. Rick and Marty Lagina, brothers who were filming their treasure search on Oak Island for the History Channel, were in charge. The fact that this is the 9th season of the program could be indicative of how successful their quest has been thus far. The siblings have unearthed a variety of intriguing artifacts, such as money, weapons, and jewelry, but they have yet to find Captain Kidd's legendary loot. The longer one searches without discovering the treasure, the more reasonable it becomes to question its very existence. The story should be regarded as a myth, despite the fact that many people have searched for his riches. The discovery of evidence that Daniel McGinnis had discovered the money pit in the 1790s did not occur until 1857. In addition, the account differs based on the cited source. There is little evidence to suggest that Captain Kidd concealed valuables on Oak Island, and the popular conception of pirates is wholly fictitious. Walking the plank and other stereotypes, such as parrots and prosthetic legs, are not supported by substantial evidence. The portrayal of Robin Newton as Long John Silver in the 1950 film adaptation of Treasure Island also contributed to the mythologizing of the infamous pirate incident. Contrary to conventional belief, there is only one well-documented case of a pirate actually burying treasure, and it wasn't them. Captain William Kidd. Be sure to stay informed and subscribe for more information on recent discoveries and findings. On Gardner Island, 500 miles away, Kidd buried his wealth, which was discovered less than a year later and used as evidence in his trial and execution. However, it is also conceivable that Kidd hid treasure on Oak Island. Why would Kidd, or any pirate for that matter, go through the trouble of excavating a 30-meter deep booby-trapped pit to conceal treasure if the objective was merely to keep anything valuable secure? A few meters would have sufficed, correct? Even if Kidd did bury wealth on Oak Island, it is likely lost forever due to the inability of modern technology, such as ground-penetrating radar, to discover it. In 1995, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution conducted a scientific investigation of Oak Island to locate any concealed treasure. As a result of their investigation, the crew came to the disappointing conclusion that the fabled inundation of the money pit was not the result of a complex trap, but rather the result of natural geological processes on the island. In Nova Scotia, near Oak Island, there are sinkholes that share some characteristics with the original money pit. Even if the cryptography stones and oak platforms discovered in the money pit appear to disprove this theory, it is important to note that many of these critical pieces of evidence have not vanished despite having been a part of the Oak Island legend for more than a century. Researchers discovered something incredible in the Oak Island money pit. Oak Island is a sequestered location off the south coast of Nova Scotia, and for generations, people have been fascinated by the island. Finally, researchers discovered something unbelievable in the Oak Island money pit. A large number of academics, scientists, and explorers are intrigued by the possibility of uncovering the mysteries buried beneath the island's surface. It may seem like an exciting adventure on a real-life treasure island, but bear in mind that many individuals have risked their entire fortunes in an attempt to make a fortune on this island. Some unfortunate individuals have even lost their lives in the process, only to have nothing to show for it in the end. The entrance of the Lagena brothers, who have joined the long list of treasure hunters attempting to solve the island's mysteries, has brought about a recent change in the status quo. The Lagena brothers are confident that they possess the skills necessary to locate the fabled treasure said to be buried on Oak Island, and ultimately, these researchers discovered something in the Oak Island money pit that you won't believe. Join us as we observe them as they investigate this 200-year-old enigma, and together we will determine if there is, in fact, hidden wealth on the island. Throughout the course of their expedition, they stumble upon some astounding discoveries that will astound you. The Lagena brothers have devoted a substantial portion of their careers to locating buried wealth. It is understandable why anyone would be captivated by the prospect of unearthing centuries-old treasure buried by someone in the past. Unfortunately, similar to a large number of other visitors to the island, the brothers initially encountered difficulties and failed in their endeavors. Rick and Marty were fortunate in that their treasure hunting efforts did not go unnoticed. The A&E network became aware of the brothers' work, and recognizing the potential for a compelling series about treasure hunters investigating Oak Island, decided to collaborate with them on a series titled The Curse of Oak Island. It's quite eerie, wouldn't you say? Thanks to their cooperation with the television network, the brothers were able to recover the funds that they had previously spent on their travels to the island. Their research activities attained an entirely new level after receiving financial support from the network and other investors. It is essential to note, however, that despite the influx of wealth, the Lagena brothers and their new investors did not make any noteworthy discoveries during the first 2 seasons of their program. This is something that must be recognized. Despite this, they demonstrated an admirable amount of patience, which is commendable because, as the saying goes, patience is a virtue. After 3 seasons of searching, the explorers on Oak Island finally made significant discoveries that aroused their curiosity. The discovery of a ceremonial Roman sword suggested that Roman soldiers may have visited Oak Island before Christopher Columbus. This major accomplishment opened a floodgate of opportunities for the crew, and as they diligently combed the island for riches, they discovered a wide variety of artifacts and antiquities. A handcrafted replica of a map of France was one of their discoveries, which aroused their interest in the artifact. In order to conduct the analysis, they enlisted the assistance of historian and maritime expert Zena Halpern. After determining that the map was created in 1647, Halpern theorized that the resources it indicated may have originated in Africa. During the course of their investigation, the Lagena brothers and the rest of their crew discovered fragments of a book, which further investigation revealed to be a bookbinder. After making this discovery, the brothers began to contemplate the possibility that they had not yet discovered additional buried manuscripts on the island. A fragment of parchment made from animal skin was yet another fascinating artifact discovered. William Chappell and Frederick Blair, explorers of Oak Island, have been hypothesized to be involved. In the 15th century, when the document was created, only the wealthy could afford to dispatch mail. In addition, the explorers discovered a number of gold coins near a pit that became known as the Money Pit. This location sparked the island's obsession with treasure that has persisted for the past 2 centuries. Unfortunately, a recurring issue with flooding halted Chappelle and Blair's treasure hunting expedition when the Money Pit became submerged in water, preventing them from making any further progress. After Chappelle and Blair led the way, many others attempted to find treasure on Oak Island, but unfortunately none were successful. Chappelle and Blair were only the beginning of a long line of people who followed in their footsteps. The issue of where the loot was hidden evaded even President Roosevelt, despite his best efforts. Despite numerous abortive attempts, the search for treasure on the island continued indefinitely. This was due to the efforts of individuals like Irwin Hamilton, who unearthed artifacts that were not typical of the area. It was evident that Rick and Marty had a challenging mission ahead of them. They were fortunate to have a competent and capable team supporting them. Craig Tester, who had been Marty's college flatmate, joined their ranks, as did Dan Blankenship and his son David, all of whom were experts in their respective disciplines. Dan Blankenship, for instance, was a renowned hunter who left his contracting business to investigate the enigmatic island. Since the Lagina siblings had been treasure hunting since they were young children, it was not surprising that they were both exceptionally skilled at the activity. As soon as Ricky, then 10 years old, stumbled upon a boulder and became intrigued by the concept of unearthing buried treasure, their passion for treasure seeking was ignited. Even though their first attempt to search the boulder for treasure failed, it set them on a path that would lead them to spend the remainder of their lives engaging in similar adventures.